Home is where connections are made, memories are formed, and ideas are born. And no one knows home better than NFM. Thanks for tuning in to I Am Home, the podcast that goes deeper than trends and dives into what it means to make your house a home.
Welcome to I Am Home, the Home Life Best Life podcast. I'm Tyler Weiskup, joined by my co-host who has voice control smoother than a dimmer curve. It's Becca Sudbeck.
Hi, Tyler.
Hi, Becca. And our other co-host, her insights calibrate cleaner than a pro colorimeter. It's Hilary Waltemath.
Wow. Hey, Tyler.
Hi. Yes, Hilary, you do. Today, we're stepping into a home where design meets deep tech. Like this house that Jacob and Cliff have brought us today is just like, it's a wow factor. It's fancy schmancy. There's all sorts of fun gadgets and gizmos, and really excited to talk to, again, the expert minds on this. Jacob, Stadie?
Yes.
Okay.
Stadie.
Got it. Perfect. And Cliff Tullis, of course.
Yep.
Welcome to you both. Really excited to dive into this topic today. But before we do that, let me tell you why we're even doing this podcast. And that's because NFM is more than just your everything home store. We're in the business of improving lifestyles because your home life should be your best life. And you can learn more at nfm.com. Okay, so Jacob, I know we kind of frame this kind of conversation, the design diaries. We've done a couple of these segments before, but this is like a real tech edition. We've done like interior designy in the past, and really excited to kind of talk a little bit more about like the creative approach to, especially this electronics installation gauge framing that we have with the home that you guys have set up for us. Yeah. So, Jacob, I wonder if you can start by giving us kind of like a quick picture of the homeowner, how you initially started your conversation and how you ended up with, because I know when we were talking offline, this conversation started as maybe like a smaller project. And then he's like, you know what, like, I'd actually like to do like the full kit and caboodle.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. So I met him on the floor. We were just walking around and chatting a little bit. He wanted to see some of the big displays, and we pulled out, he said he wanted a video wall. So we decided, okay, well, let's put together a video wall. I put that together, and then he comes back and he says, I want you to do the whole home. And after we get into that kind of conversation, we know we can do everything. We can do all of the AV and security and all. And he was interested. So we just turned it into a whole home project.
That's crazy. Yeah. So does that happen often, where people are like, you know what, let me just open up my wallet because
yeah,
he's like a really cool guy.
Kind of. Yeah. They don't really know what we do.
Yeah.
So when they find out, they get more information. Oh yeah, well, we're gonna have somebody else do it. Why don't you guys just do it? So, yeah, it happens a lot.
Yeah. Well, and then it's also a thing of once we're in your home and we're talking to you about these things, we do this, right? We're experts, we're designers, so we think about things that the customer might not think of, and we can lay it out for you and let you decide. But generally, you're like, I kind of can't live without that now that you said that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we do tend to get a little bit more than what the customer initially bargained for, but it's because we show them the solution and they kind of can't live without it after that.
Yeah.
Right. And the solutions are really cool. I'd like to dive into this house and kind of start looking at some of the pretty pictures. Scott, if you won't mind pulling up some of the imagery here, Jacob can kind of help us kind of walk through what we're looking at.
Whoa.
Yeah. So this is a DVLED. It's a direct view LED. It's a panelized TV. So you're going to get panels about that big that snap into this frame that you see on the screen. And on the back side of that, there's a very large rack that is housing all of our electronical components.
Yeah,
right.
We've got some pictures of that coming up. Yeah.
But we're constructing that here. So this is a custom DV LED for this person's home on the side of some speakers that he wanted for a surround sound system. This is really his media space. This is the reason he came to NFM.
Yeah.
He knew that we could do this, so we put this together. You snap and fit a bunch of different parts together, and then they make a really grand, large display.
Yeah. This is like,
how big is this?
This one's 108, actually. So technically, it's kind of on the smaller side for a AV LED. Yeah. So
you're funny.
If you've ever seen those things that you drive by that have all those video walls on the, you driving up here on 72nd or Dodge Street, going to the hospital.
Yeah.
There's a big
Oh,
one.
yes, yes,
That's-
on the children's
that's
hospital.
one of these.
Okay, okay.
Ew.
They're able to be huge. You can
Yeah.
Okay.
unlimited
So,
scalability.
And
So
like, is that one
tiny.
curved? Like it,
that one is curved,
right?
Yeah.
So okay,
Yep. We
Yeah.
can do curved. We
Right.
can do all of that. But this one specific for a seated area, it's
Yeah.
meant for a home, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So this is the installation that we're looking at here. You've got a couple of guys putting it
Yes.
together. There's like brackets and a bunch of like techno wizardry happening behind the
Definitely.
scenes.
yes.
Scott, let's go forward and take a look at it coming together a little bit more here. So this first image is like when you started to install some of the panels.
Exactly right. So there are other components that go behind the panels. Those are kind of your snap things. The first picture that we saw was some of those electrical components and all the wiring that was important for it. And then it goes into a snap fit, and then we get these panels. The last photo is the finished.
Got it.
Mhm.
Yes. So we see the finish here, and then there's one more where it's a little bit more straight on. Scott, if you wouldn't mind going forward. Yeah, perfect.
Oh yeah. So this photo, this shows kind of the front speaker system and the TV itself or the display itself. We did something called tiling, where we did multiple sources on the display. So you
Yeah.
can press a button and you can see all these different games going on, or he wanted his cameras on there as well. So we put the cameras on there. We can do it in a lot of different ways, but
so it can be like
Finish.
multi-screen. You can watch multi-screens at once,
Totally.
or you can have a
one
whole big,
big
giant
one.
Definitely.
screen.
And
Oh,
the
that's
cool thing about it is you can customize the size that it is. So if you want one screen bigger than your other three, you can do that.
Oh,
We can
okay.
lay it out however you want. We can set
Ah.
custom ones that you can just click one button and it does it, or you can customize
cool.
it for everything you're watching. You can play your Xbox while, other things are being shown on different sources. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this
Why
thing looks
watch one
crazy.
TV when you can watch 4
Or in this case, I think it's like 15.
or
right?
15?
15 things
Yeah.
going
there's
there?
like
Because he's
the
got
bottom
cameras.
right.
Oh,
is
right,
his
right.
camera
Yeah.
system.
Oh, that's all the cameras. Oh,
Yeah. So
interesting.
you can see every single one
okay,
of
those
them.
are all little individual ones. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, Jacob, why would somebody go with this technology? I mean, it's really cool, but like we have projectors, we have other things that can get you
Definitely.
that bigger size. So, what's the benefit of DVLED
Quality.
versus? Okay.
Yeah. So when you go into a projector, you can get a super high quality
Mhm.
image.
Of course,
Right? But this is a rec room. It's a media area. We would call a theater, right? If it's meant for solely just viewing projector, we're going to throw that in there because you can get a huge screen. You can get a really good picture in a pitch black space. DVLEDs are able to cover if we have a lot of light. Like
Mm.
this room is super bright.
Yeah.
We wouldn't want to put a projector in here because it's not going to be able to
Mm,
overwhelm that.
Mhm.
A DVLED can because they're emitting their own light. It's not reflecting light. That's why we chose going this route. We did mention if he was interested in a theater space to do a projector because we could have gone with a super, super large
Yeah.
option. But the quality was a higher more urgent need, I guess. He has a couple of pool tables or pool table and a shuffleboard and foosball table. So this area is used for other
Well,
things.
Yes, very
Mhm.
cool.
You're not going to have the lights off when they're using it every time.
Sure.
Yeah. We haven't dug into the speaker system too much. There's a JBL synthesis architectural
Yeah.
speaker. That sounds, again,
Wow.
back to fancy
Yeah.
schmancy.
Yeah,
Tell me about that.
they are very high end speakers. These ones in particular are the end walls. So we had 2 subs in the front on the lower side in the
We saw
wall,
that in that image.
2 on the upper side. Those are your front speakers. Then we actually have 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and then 2 in the middle.
Oh, cool.
So those are all in ceiling architectural speakers. The whole idea was to give them a full surround effect. We couldn't do true rears because the space is so large.
Mm.
It would have echoed a lot. It wouldn't have carried in the right way. So we
Got
did
it.
architecturals. These ones have angles to them that can point to the right spots,
Wow.
essentially. So it is video is one part, audio is another. Personally, it's total personal preference. It's 60-40 for me. Audio is more important than video.
Mhm.
Right.
Other people will disagree. It'll be 60-40 then the other way,
Mhm.
or maybe it's 50-50. So we always try to build the system according to what the customer wants, but
Mhm.
I won't ever forget one part or the other.
So are the ceiling speakers like flush, or is it something that like suspends down
They
from?
are flush.
Question.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So we could cut for example, in here, we have a couple of speakers. I know you can't see this on
Uh-huh.
our video, but we can cut them into the ceiling. We recess them, put it all together that way.
Interesting.
All that kind of stuff we have to figure out before this point.
Yeah.
It's a pre-wire phase, but
In this house, you're working with them as they're building it. So you're kind of designing the system
correct.
while the walls are open. I know that we've talked about this in the past, Cliff,
Yes.
right? It makes it a
Yes.
lot easier for you to be able to kind of like come up with these solutions.
And that's what I was going to say was with this customer, we were able to get in early and
Yes.
really flesh out a lot of these ideas. You glossed over a lot of things because it's just natural to you. But a lot of what he's talking about is that design phase, right?
Yep.
Sure, we can just throw speakers everywhere because that's what you want. But we're going to design it so it doesn't echo because we put speakers too far away and the
Yep.
room's too big, right? The design phase of that is where we bring in the experts. So us getting in early matters a lot to what we can get accomplished and how efficient it can be.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In this situation, the client came to us before they even broke the ground.
Oh, wow.
He is a tech person.
Yeah.
He has a tech company, so he knows how important it is to do this, and especially to him, it's super important. But if he had not come to us before he broke ground, we wouldn't have had most of this done.
Mhm.
We had to have certain electrical requirements. We had to get wires in certain spots. We had to get tube or conduit to places. That stuff wouldn't have happened if he didn't come to us at the time he did. And
Right.
we're grateful for that because it came to be an amazing project, very cool project.
Absolutely.
So sorry, did you say this was like a new build home or like
Correct.
okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So if it's like existing home situation, you're having to
Retrofit,
yeah.
which we do.
Yes.
We do it a lot.
Okay.
Because not everybody's building a house. Somebody might just move into a house and they want
Yeah.
technology.
Mhm.
We can
And the
retrofit.
technology has changed so much since
Totally.
like, you might have built your house, whatever. But
Yeah.
Right.
now things are all different.
Every 5 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh.
It's completely different.
Something brand new.
Yep.
If somebody's moving into a house
Mhm.
and they want this kind of thing, what we usually do is a site survey and we'll see where can we get wires if we can. If we can't, we'll look at other solutions. But yes, yeah,
Well-
retrofits.
We also do some takeovers, right? You'll move into a home that had old technology in it from 10 years
Right.
ago.
Sure.
We can do takeovers, right? Where we update, right? Or we
Mhm.
get you future ready. It's just more efficient when we get in early, but it doesn't limit what we can
Right.
do when
Mhm.
we've got a retrofit or
Right.
take over a system.
Mhm. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Scott, we have a couple more images I want to pull up for Jacob to comment on. If we can go to the next one. So this, I think, is getting into more of like the audio, especially some of the outdoor stuff.
Yeah.
I wonder if you can kind of walk us through, because we've got those JBL architectural stuff inside. I don't know how much is this like all speaking to each other, and just walk us through kind of how you want to set about designing some of it.
Definitely. So the whole system altogether can talk to it. It's, I guess, itself, 'cause it's one system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They can all talk to the different zones. So we have a outdoor kitchen, we have a living room and an inside kitchen, and that downstairs media area. All of those spaces can play in conjunction or separately. That's the big idea. Is if you're having a party or you're entertaining and you want to hit a button, we can hit a button and we can play everything through it. The idea was we want high level speakers throughout. So we did landscape speakers, which you can see on the right. It's just not the best photo, but that's for some reason, all of my photos are gone.
Small photo, but we can.
Yeah. But that photo on the right is a set of landscape speakers. That's just one and a subwoofer. We had 14 more throughout the entire pool back area.
Crazy.
Those in ceilings in the left photo are the outdoor fireplace area.
And those are kind of the white ones.
Yes, those white ones.
Yep.
And the way that these all kind of came to an answer, we wanted something that would look clean. So right here, they're white, but we ended up having their painter paint them.
Okay.
So they match the color. You can't
It's
see
like a
them anymore.
Cool.
paintable-
Yep.
Okay.
So
Right.
they are all
Thoughtful.
completely disguised. You're not going to be able to see them unless you're really,
Yeah.
you're going up there and you're pulling off these grills. But
Mhm.
if you're doing that, you're interested in the speakers, right?
Yeah,
So
sure.
we put them all over the place. And like Cliff said, it's not just throw speakers anywhere. We base it around their seating needs, right? They have certain plans for where they were going to seat people. We focus on those areas.
Mhm.
There's also some really cool things we can do with those speaker grills we were
Mhm.
talking about, how we can paint them. There's small aperture where
Yeah.
they can like laser etch the wood grain to match. so that you
It's
cannot see
incredible.
them. They're essentially invisible speakers. You would not know they're there unless you know they're there.
Oh, I
So
appreciate
there are
that
some
so
really
much.
cool things we can do, with the design of what we're doing. It's fun.
Yeah, super fun. So you talked about how flexible this can be. If you're in one area, you can play multiple things. I think we've talked about this in the past, Cliff, where
Correct.
like setting up zones and like modes
Party
or
mode.
party mode. Yeah, I think that's the
Yeah,
term.
I'd call it
Jacob's the
party
party
mode.
Yeah,
guy.
walk us through that. How many of those kind of setups did you create, and is it just party mode and other
Great
modes? I'm
question.
just curious.
So they can be party mode. Each room that you walk in will have 5 buttons. So we have a keypad right next to your light switches, and those are programmed to maybe just this room turns on and plays the stuff that's more meant for this room.
Mhm.
But this bottom one hits party mode, and all the rooms that are tied to it play the same thing. Maybe it's game day and we want game going on in this room, but we want music in that room. We can do that. And we did do that in this situation. But every room that has speakers, every room that has a display has a keypad. So we put that into the wall and hit a button. We program it custom. It's completely custom. You can change it to do lighting. We can do just the displays, just the audio. We can kind of do whatever the customer wants.
Mhm.
We spent a lot of time finding out. He talked about it, how they're going to use the space, where people are going to sit. Are you hosting parties
Yep.
out here? Is this a kids' room where they're going to be playing? Are we using it as a theater room? All that stuff goes into how we design those buttons, how we
Yeah.
set up those preset modes. Some people have a hosting mode. Some people have a good night mode. Some people have party mode.
Party mode.
Me and you.
I like
Yeah, you gotta have party
mode.
Scott, can we pull up the next image? I think it kind of speaks to some of the control panel type stuff. So this is, I think, one example of that.
Yes.
So if we're talking about the buttons and how that works, and I know there's probably like an app involved too that
Yeah.
you can play with. Talk to us about like the interface of like activating party mode and all these other modes that
Yeah.
you want to be able to use as you're being flexible in game day or
Definitely.
karaoke night or whatever.
So for this house, we actually have a lot more than just keypads, right? So that, like you said, there's an app.
Mhm.
He can pull up an app on his phone, his iPad, or whatever, and click any of the buttons in place, just like we would if we hit.
Is that
keypads here.
Connect 4?
Control 4.
Yeah.
Connect Four.
Hey, that's a good game, though.
Yeah.
That's a
No, I
good
see what
game,
you're
though.
heading at.
Everyone loves
Adult
Speaking of
Connect 4 is
modern
fantastic.
technology.
Control 4 system.
Connect
Okay.
Four.
Yep. So that's a control. This is a control 4 system. That's one of our vendors, and they do full home control. It can also be put into commercial. There's a whole lot that
Yeah.
they can do. It's a big
Yeah.
sandbox. But here we did keypads, we did touch panels. So think of like an iPad on your wall. Then we did app control and remotes. Each room has its own remote as well.
Cool.
Because every time you're not gonna want to have to pull up your phone every single time
Mhm.
and hit a button. You want a remote.
Yeah.
So we did kind of all of the above for this space. In here specifically, just to walk through those buttons, the top one turns on the lights and turns on the display.
Okay.
The second one turns on the lights, the display, and the audio. The third one would, and I don't remember for this situation, but the third one may do something different.
Right.
Maybe 30% on the lights and the audio to a lower level. Maybe it's a romantic night, right? The last one
Jacob.
would be, hey, watch out.
PG pod. You're gonna have to
Getting
put a
saucy
disclaimer
here,
on it.
yeah.
Oopsies.
This explicit mark again.
Whoa.
I am home after dark.
Hey, that's your thing. The bottom one would be the party mode, right?
Got
For
it.
this house in particular, the bottom one is party mode. You
Got
hit it goes, and then you can kind of see on these pictures there's an up and down arrow. Those are volume levels. Maybe
Okay.
each room they want different volume
Yeah.
levels.
Yeah.
We can do that too.
Nice.
So is that like, it almost looks like light switch size? Is
Exactly.
that okay?
Yeah. So they can actually replace light switches,
Oh,
but we didn't want to do that.
sure.
The traditional light switch was something that we still liked
Uh-huh.
and he still wanted.
Uh-huh.
So we put keypads in that were separate.
Okay.
And we separated them from that, so there's not a wall or bank
Of
of a
switches,
bunch
yeah.
of
I was
I was
switches.
gonna say that's way
There's-
smaller than I would have anticipated.
With everything we're controlling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
do a lot with those tiny little things.
Yeah.
And we keep talking about customizability, right? So those keypads, each button can say whatever you need to have to say on it. It can just be a light. It can be blue. It can be green. It could be white. We can really customize it to the theme of the home, right?
Yeah.
If you're big Husker people, then it's red for you, right?
Mhm.
Or if you want squares instead of circles, or whatever you
Wow.
need, we can get that granular about the details that we customize and design for you. So again, right, building that relationship, spending so much time with the customer from the beginning really pays off.
Yeah. It's super cool. Okay, let's talk a little bit. I know you had some networking and surveillance type stuff.
Sure.
Scott, I have a couple more images if you want to pull those up for us. This one, I know was like some of the floor planning stuff. Images were a little small, so I don't want to spend a ton of time, but like I really liked how obviously thoughtful and intentional this
Yeah.
shows
Yes.
on like how we're outlining some of where these things are going to go and all that kind of stuff. And there's a couple more, Scott. This one, talk about this one because this looks pretty fancy.
It looks like a lot, right? So, we have a software that allows us to work on prints.
Okay.
So the client gave us prints. We knew things that we wanted to do in the space. I can say, I want to put these things in these areas and just tell the client that, or I could show them what we are actually looking to do.
Yeah.
It makes it more involved of a process. They know what they are kind of thinking of for a space. And this also makes sure that nothing's left out, right? We had this conversation. Now he thought that this would be a great thing to have, but we didn't have that on the prints. We can always add that. We can make that stuff happen.
Yeah.
It's real life changes, right? You can see it kind of happening. In this photo specifically, this is wireless network. This is a different software altogether. I drew out all of the walls, the glass, the concrete, everything on a print mapping software. And we have different wireless access points for network that we can place on. Those green and white or green and yellow blobs, I guess you'll say, those show where there are hot spots or dead spots for network. No dead spots for network in this house. That is a huge thing because this is a smart house.
Yeah.
We need to have network.
Yeah, of course.
So we made sure we were ultimately covered for all of the networking side of things.
Wow.
And I think even the next one is.
Yeah, there's one more here.
Yeah, that's cameras. So that's camera coverage. Any of the blue is camera coverage. You'll see a
All
couple
covered.
of white spots
Yeah,
that don't have any. There aren't windows.
Got it.
You're not cutting through somebody's house to get into it, right?
Yeah.
So we didn't need that kind of coverage in those locations. But that's the same kind of software. I drew out all of the walls and anything that would be blocking anything, and we map it out for the client.
Cool.
Wow.
Nice.
That's wild.
It takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work that goes into it, but it is super rewarding.
Well, to your point, I imagine somebody that you're working with is like very tech savvy, very knowledgeable, and is like wants a lot of confidence moving forward. And like this type of like software or design software you have, like I imagine is so helpful for a client like this.
Absolutely. And I'll say not all of our clients are super techie, right? There are plenty that aren't.
Right.
We make it easy for them. This one in particular knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Right. So it made it even easier for us to kind of hand the keys over, if you will. But others, they may not be as interested in some of this. We'll do it still.
Yeah.
They don't want to see it. Others will.
Just want to know it works.
Yeah.
Well, and there are some visuals and aids that we give to some of those customers regardless, right? I think we can talk about solutions, but you see the complexity, you see the detail that we go into. Being able to have something that they can look at, something they can reference back to. We could talk all day about this, and then you're going to get up and walk away and be like, what was he saying?
All of it. Yeah.
100%.
So something, visuals, things to reference back to help a lot with techie customers and with just about anybody else as well.
Yeah.
So it's a big part of what we do.
Yeah, because we're not all designing. You
Correct.
guys are. We are not designing this stuff every single day or figuring out how it works.
Right.
But knowing that we have the confidence of an expert helps you.
Exactly.
Okay. Let's get to the final few images here. This is like the fancy rack system stuff that you have, which
I'm very proud of this.
Wait, what is this?
This is
So-
the rack.
Yeah, on the left
Beautiful.
is like a full-on image of the rack, and then this is, I think, the back of it, and then
Yeah, and I'm having a hard time seeing it somewhat.
know.
But
Smaller
that left
image
one
here.
is the front side of the rack.
Excellent.
The right or the middle one is the back side of the rack. And then the far right is just showing some documentation that we go through. We will document everything,
Yeah.
right? We need to know, where does this wire go? Because 6 years from now, when we're servicing this,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and somebody that is new or
Didn't
maybe
work
had
on the
never worked on
project.
this
Exactly.
project comes in and we can't tell them how this works, they can see it right out the gate. But yeah, in this situation,
So each of those little labels on the wire says exactly
It
where
says
it's
exactly
going.
where it's
and,
going.
which
Correct.
is cool.
Oh, I think I saw this in one of the Oceans movies.
Hey,
Yeah.
I know what you're talking
Yes,
about.
yeah.
wish it was mine. Yep.
Next goal.
Yeah, next
So
one.
this rack is cool though, because you can't really grasp it in this picture, but that's like, I can stand in that rack.
Mhm.
It's huge.
It is humongous, right? And it is the brain of everything that's going on in this home.
Yeah, talk more about that, because that's a pretty techie term. A lot of customers might not know exactly
Sure.
what that means, but this is, like you said, it's the brain. It's powering everything.
Yeah.
We like to call it the home run, right? But yeah, Jacob, if you want to kind of explain what people see or what people are looking at when they see all these wires coming back
Sure.
to this tall rack.
Everything in here is communicating to something else. The way that I'm trying to not make it confusing because it can be confusing.
It is very complicated.
We have video distribution, which means I can send this Apple TV, for example, to this TV while also sending it to that TV, and so on and so forth. So there's a
Okay.
lot of that in here. Same for audio. I can do the different audio to different rooms like we were talking about before.
Mhm.
But we also have the pieces that make your network work and your surveillance work and the way that we control those houses with the keypads. All of those pieces reside inside of this rack.
Surge protection.
Yep,
right?
there's power protection. There's a whole lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's also stuff that's in the ceiling that's in another box that we're not showing here.
Yeah.
But the way that the rack kind of, like he said, it's the home, right? We home run everything to this location. Everything communicates from this location to the rest of the home.
Mhm.
You'll see a lot of wires that are kind of tied back and off to the side. This is a very pretty rack. One of our installers, Ryan, that is his number one thing, that he loves building a rack, and he does it so well. Not everybody out there could do this. This is a very
special
tough
skill.
Yeah,
It's one of
this is
those
a very
like
tough thing to
oddly
do.
satisfying things
Yeah.
to your brain when you
Yeah.
see it all come together. It's
Yeah.
it's nice.
It's pretty incredible.
Do these things get hot? Like, do you have to
Sure
like?
do.
Yes, they're
Okay.
hot.
Great question.
Yes.
You want to come work with us? for that?
Yeah, you're right onto it. You're onto
Yeah.
it. They do get hot.
Okay.
Yes. In this situation, this is a double depth rack, so there's a lot of extra space.
Okay.
It's meant for a server, and the client actually provided it because, again, he's in the industry,
Tech
Mhm.
guy,
right? So we didn't have any issues with heat or anything, but we would calculate BTUs based off of wattage, and we'll go from there, kind of figure out what we need for cooling.
Wow.
Yep. So fans,
Like
right?
really
Yeah.
end to
Mhm.
end, like everything is
Definitely.
considered.
Yep.
Yeah.
Watt or power requirements. We have
Mhm.
to have certain power requirements. We have to have certain cooling requirements. There's rack space. They're called rack units. Everything has a different measurement.
Mhm.
So we have to make sure everything's going to fit and everything's going to work for a long time. Right.
Wow.
Super
Furthermore,
satisfying.
right? City code we've got to abide
Yeah.
by, right? So,
Mhm.
I mean, we get pretty granular with a lot of it,
Yeah.
but it pays off.
Well,
Yeah.
and to be able to do that, plus like all of the like aesthetic considerations too, like I just appreciate that so
Yeah.
much. I think of these things and I think of like unsightly things in
Sure.
the home, but
I also
Well-
feel like they do a really good job of putting them in a place where you don't have to.
yeah,
Like ours is not this complicated, but it's similar and it's in our
Mhm.
storage room. And
That's
I mean,
intentional.
I'm not
Yeah.
going to touch that thing. It's
Right.
very complicated, but like
Yeah, please don't.
anytime your team's been out there,
Yeah.
great. They know exactly what they're doing.
yeah,
Yeah, nope, you're exact, and all of that is intentional,
Yeah.
right? The documentation, the location of it, if it's on the ground, if it's up on a wall, if it's in a cabinet,
Yeah.
all of that is thought about. That's not
Right.
just random. Let's put it somewhere.
Yeah.
It's all very, very, very intentional.
Mhm.
So if it's not working, do I come down there and like blow on it, or does that?
Hey,
It's like a
you
Super
can always give it a
Nintendo game.
shot. Find out. What we actually put in was a wireless management piece. So if something is not working
Okay.
correctly, before we have to roll a truck out, we can try to restart
Reset
it
it.
Awesome.
out here.
And actually, we get alerts if that
Yeah.
system goes down, if power goes out, if anything like that
Interesting.
happens,
No
the customer
way.
can get alerts, and so do we.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
In this situation, the client has a backup generator that kicks on after 7 minutes. So that was something that we had to put in a battery backup because there's a 7-minute gap
Yep.
between power loss and getting power back,
back.
right? So I had to do 7 minute 30 seconds. So we have battery backup for 7 minute 30 seconds before the power completely comes back on. So that's the kind of stuff that
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Nuts.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Hopefully the camera hasn't been on me. I've just been like gap mouth this whole time.
So I wonder if we're getting kind of close to the end here. Jacob, if you have like advice for a homeowner dreaming of like a smart connected home, but they're not sure where to start, where do you typically start that conversation? What do you
Yeah.
suggest?
Well, if you're getting ready to talk to somebody that's building your home, or if you're already in the talks with somebody building a home, reach out to us. Get started early. That's the number one thing. If you're even entertaining the idea, at least come and talk to us. We're happy to discuss things with you.
Mhm.
Consultations or meeting in the store is always welcome. We love to do it. Next, it would be wire for your dreams, because if your
Yes.
walls are closed, you can't do it
Mm,
without tearing everything apart.
mhm.
So if we don't have to do drywall work, that would be the best, right? But we'll tear stuff out if we have to.
Mhm.
If you wire it before, you don't. We're good.
Yeah, you kind of touched on it. I was going to say future ready, right? Dream bigger than what your thoughts are. We used to be AV. That's a microcosm of what we do now. We do lighting, we do shades, we work indoors, we work outdoors. We'll get on your roof, right? We'll get out there and work for you. There's a lot more than just TVs and speakers that we do.
Yeah.
So I would encourage anyone thinking about something like this, dream big, right? Dream about possibilities that you didn't think you could do. And I bet we can. So I would say think of a larger solution and we can fulfill your dreams.
Lovely. Okay. Well, Jacob, Cliff, thank you so much for bringing this project to us and
Always.
showing off your awesome work. I want to thank my co-hosts as well, Becca and Hilary, our producers, Ann and Scott, and of course, all of you for listening. Keep liking and subscribing wherever you listen to the podcast. And don't forget to send us your questions at nfm.com/podcast. Until next time, here's the Making Your Home Life Your Best Life, one story at a time.
Thanks for joining us today for I Am Home with Tyler Weisskopf, Hilary Waltemath, and Becca Sudbeck. No one knows home quite like NFM. So if you'd like more information on home design at NFM, please check out nfm.com and leave us a review on the podcast platform of your choice.